another edition of Science Saturday. I'm Leslie and this is Shannon. And today, Science Saturday is all about making candy.
And it already looks really great. I'm so excited to dive into the science of making candy. Before we get started though, we wanted to let you know that Science Saturday is going to pause for the summer months. So we're getting ready for the Summer Reading Club, which you can be a part of. So a virtual Summer Reading Club is starting on June 15th, and you can find more information about that on our website at www.ocl.net. So this is going to be our last Science Saturday for the summer months while we pause and switch gears to get ready for summer reading fun.
As you can see, we have all kinds of candy on display in the front here. Some of them are probably very familiar to most of you, but we want to know, where did candy come from?
The earliest candy is believed to be combined fruits and nuts with honey by ancient civilizations. So candy's been around for a very, very, very long time.
So it sounds like candy's been around forever.
Definitely.
How is candy made?
To make most types of candies, you always start by dissolving sugar in boiling water. This forms a sugar syrup, which is the base of most candy, which you then cool down. The way you cool down the syrup makes the difference. So some types of candy you need to cool the sugar syrup slower and some you need to cool faster.
So most candy starts with sugar.
Sounds like it.
That makes sense. That's why they always say you go to the dentist, brush after eating candy.
All right, well, let's jump into our very first recipe that does involve dissolving sugar.
Yes. So our first experiment is demonstrating states of matter. Shannon, what are states of matter?
The three most common states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas. Matter is the stuff that makes up the universe. All matter is made up of atoms. Everything that takes up space is matter. The states of matter depend on how tightly packed the atoms are. So the atoms in a solid are tightly packed, the liquid has a little more space, and there are very few atoms in a gas.
So our experiment is going to use gelatin, or also known as jello.
So gelatin starts as a solid. So we're going to mix sugar and gelatin powder, and then we heat it in the pan here. When we add hot water to the gelatin, the protein in the gelatin dissolves into a liquid. And then when it's cooled again, it turns into a semi-solid. So not quite a solid, but not quite a liquid. It has that jiggly feel.
All right, let's get started. So for this experiment, we're going to use a recipe from this book,
which is an Oxford County Library book.
Yes. We're going to make orange slice jellies using the gelatin.
So to start, we need to get 2/3 of a cup of orange juice from our oranges. Okay, so we juiced 5 oranges and we need 2/3 of a cup. We are going to strain it to get out the seeds and any pulp. Okay, so we have our freshly squeezed orange juice, a liquid, and we need to start mixing it all together. So we're going to add some solids, the sugar and the gelatin, to our pan. 2/3 of a cup of orange juice.
2.5 tablespoons of gelatin.
We're using unflavored plain gelatin powder, but if you only have Jello mix, you could probably use that too.
And then 1 full cup of sugar. So now we need to turn this on and heat everything through until our sugar is completely dissolved.
So that's also really cool to watch. Very carefully if you're using a stove, but you will watch the sugar, the solid, dissolve into the liquid and disappear.
So we're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar as well.
And mix until dissolved. So the sugar and gelatin dissolved into the orange juice, and now we just have a pan of hot liquid. So very carefully, you can pour the liquid mixture into a prepared pan. So we are using just a plate that is lined with plastic wrap, so it's easier to take out after. All right, so the gelatin mixture is ready to go into the fridge for about an hour, and you will see a liquid become a semi-solid.
So it's been sitting for about an hour and it is all solidified.
Good word. So as you can see, our liquid has turned into a semi-solid, so it's a little bit jiggly but not fully solid like a table or something like that. But it is now set, and now we're going to flip it onto the plate and show you what it actually looks like. So now that our gelatin is set, you can cut it into different shapes using a cookie cutter or just a knife. We are going to use a maple leaf cookie cutter from the Oxford County Library Kitchen Lending Library to cut some shapes. This next quick experiment is to show you what happens when you add air to egg whites.
It's a process very commonly used when making meringue.
We're going to bring you nice and close so you can see what happens.
So for this, we only need the egg whites, not the yolks.
The yolks contain fat, which is molecules that we don't need for this process.
I'm gonna whisk.
When you whisk egg whites, you create foam by adding air. At the same time, the wire whisk causes some of the egg proteins to unravel. You can already see it's getting a little bit foamy just using the whisk by hand.
We're gonna speed it up a little bit.
All right.
So doing this, if you were to add a few more ingredients prior to this and pop it in the oven, you would have a tasty meringue.
Do you remember at the start of the video when we said to make most types of candy, you first need to dissolve sugar in boiling water? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do with this experiment to make rock candy.
So like with the start of most candies, we need to dissolve sugar and water to make a sugar syrup. And then to cool it, we need to cool it slowly so that we can break it up into pieces.
All right, sugar syrup.
Okay, so to start, we're doubling this recipe as well because we have a big pan that we want to use. So it's 4 cups of sugar.
So that is 4 cups of sugar. That's a great representation, a visual representation of how much sugar is actually in candy.
So now we need 1 cup of corn syrup.
1 cup of corn syrup, which is another form of sugar. It's just sugar already in a liquid form.
And then 1 cup of water.
You can see there how the sugar reacts with the water. Some of it is already starting to dissolve.
Now we're going to turn it on.
We carefully turned on our hot plate to add some heat to our pan. And now you need to whisk or stir the mixture. heated our sugar syrup to 300 degrees. Now we need to turn it off. We're going to add in food coloring and some candy flavoring.
A few drops. Want to pour one in?
Sure. This is a dram of peach flavoring.
Mix that really good. And then quickly pour into our...
Very, very carefully into our greased sheet pan. So to make rock candy, the sugar syrup needs to cool slowly. So we're going to leave it sitting there at room temperature for about half an hour, and then we're going to check on it.
So here is our finished rock candy.
You can see it made one solid piece of candy. It's got a couple bubbles on the top there, but it is completely hard now.
So now, in order to get it out of the pan, we've got to bang it off of something in order to break it up inside of the pan.
Made some cracks there. So then you just keep breaking it up. You could use a rolling pin or something harder. So you keep breaking up your rock candy until it comes out of your pan, and then you can enjoy it. Our next candy experiment comes straight from this Science You Can Eat book, which you can find in the Oxford County Library catalog. This book is so cool, and I'm very excited to do an experiment from it.
Me too.
We are going to page 48 and 49, that is titled Exploding Food. And we are going to make Pop Rocks. Have you ever heard of Pop Rocks? They're those little candies that make popping sound when you eat them. So we're going to see how they're actually made.
So this recipe, you do the same thing that you did with the hard rock candy, with a few extra ingredients. So we have to start off by making that same simple syrup like we did before.
Dissolving sugar, corn syrup into the hot pan.
Yes. Okay, so now we can turn off the heat. We are set, again measuring to 300 degrees. And we are going to add the baking soda and the citric acid.
So these are two ingredients that were not used for rock candy. So there's a difference right there. So now carefully again, we're going to pour the mixture into a sheet pan. You might notice there is some white stuff on the sheet pan. That is cornstarch. So now our mixture is on the pan. We are taking a teaspoon of citric acid and sprinkling it across the whole mixture. And now you just leave it to let it harden. So our Pop Rocks have hardened on the tray, as you can see. They're very hard. And we've already broken some up. You can see there. You can break them up even finer, but we just put some bigger pieces from the tray into a plastic bag, and then we broke them up with a rolling pin.
And they are quite tasty. We did try them, and they do fizz up pretty good in your mouth.
So our Pop Rocks do fizz when we put them in our mouths, and they taste really good, but we want you to be able to hear it. So we are going to try Blue Raz Pop Rocks that you can buy from the store and see if you can hear it. These should be a lot louder. So we're going to add some water and see what happens. There we go. So the popping sound is made from the baking soda releasing carbon dioxide, just like carbonation in pop.
Speaking of pop, Shannon, our next experiment has to do with pop.
Yeah, and I think we should head outside for that one. To finish Outside Saturday, we are going to do the Diet Coke and Mentos Volcano.
So this is mentioned in the Science You Can Eat book.
And we're going to try it with a light colored Diet Pop and then with Diet Coke to see what happens. I've seen the videos. I don't know if you've seen the videos. We're going to give it a try.
So the reason why this works is because Mentos has a surface that creates a reaction with the soda pop. So one bubble kind of starts creating more bubbles, and then you get the giant explosion.
All right, so this is the Diet Clear Pop and 6 Mentos. I'm going to uncap it, drop this in, and get out of the way. All right, let's try the Diet Coke, and I'm using 12 Mentos, double what we did with the Diet Sprite. It fell out. It's here.
Wait, it popped back out?
Yeah.
What? It's like a volcano, but it doesn't shoot up all the way.
Did you see that? The force of the pop shot the Mentos right back out the top. So we didn't get that full geyser like you see on YouTube. But I bet if those Mentos stayed in the bottle, it would have shot right up to the sky.
Absolutely. So thanks for joining us for this final Science Saturday, just for right now, like we said. Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page and check out our website, ocl.net, to place some polls on some really cool books.
You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find really cool programming videos all on our YouTube channel. And we hope to see you for Summer Reading Club, which starts on June 15th. Stay tuned to our website and our social media for more details.